Welcome, everyone, to the best sports gambling show on the planet. This is WagerTalk Today. I am your host, Andy Lang. It is go time. The weekend is here, and the board is loaded. We got big games, we got big edges, and we got really good chances for some big profits. We've been building all week for Friday to get you ready for the weekend. If you are ready to bet smart and finish the weekend strong, you are in the right place. Let's make it a winning weekend. And as always, let's make our bankrolls a little bit bigger today than they were yesterday. Get your questions in. We have decided that the questions that you guys ask are great. So if you have questions, Gianni's going to be on here. Marco's going to be on here talking about the Preakness. Lawrence is going to be on here talking about hockey. Kyle's going to be on here talking about UFC. You've got me. We're going to do another edition of Around the World, and Dan's going to jump on with Cross. We got a lot of people here. If you got questions, put them in the chat, and we'll try and get to them. Gianni's going to talk about where the money's going. Like I said, Marco's talking Preakness. We got NHL, and we got UFC. And while we get started, guys, hit the like button. We got a jam-packed show. Let's get to 110 likes before the end of the show. It's Friday. Come on, let's do this. Waste no time. Gianni, my friend, welcome. We got a huge weekend. Hope everything's going good for you. As always, like to start off, you woke up yesterday morning with a ton of action, ton of energy. What is Friday morning looking like?
All right, shout out to Block Beat, and let's give him a couple winners really quick. He missed yesterday, so UFL. Game 271, under 40, Birmingham, St. Louis, under 40, Birmingham, St. Louis in the UFL. 273, over 42.5, Michigan, Houston, over 42.5, Michigan, Houston. So those are two UFL bets. I think they're for tomorrow. So under 40, Birmingham, over 42.5, Michigan. Two WNBA plays for you guys tonight. I gave these out to subscribers, 3% plays. You're going to get them right now. 603, under 158. Atlanta, Washington, good to 157, probably 156.5 is out there. And 606, Golden State +7. Now, there's some free plays for you guys. Now let's dive into what's going on as far as playoff action. Nothing as far as the sharp bettors so far in the NBA. Big game, New York up 3-2 with a chance to close it out. Books are going to need Boston to push it to 7. I thought Boston would be getting the money, but that's just not the case. It continues to flow in 7 out of every $10 from yesterday, and it seems like the same pace, 7 out of every $10 gets bet on the New York Knicks. Like we said, teams in this situation, very small sample size. It's only happened 4 times in all of the NBA playoff rounds where the home team lost the first 2, and then it played out like this. All 4 times, the team in the Knicks position was able to close out the series and not push it to a game 7. So we'll see if history holds true. Books hoping that's not the case. Good split action on the total, over and under. Not much to report there. NHL, another elimination possibility. Florida, Toronto. Good two-way action. I thought Florida would be getting all the money, but that's just not the case. I'm seeing just as much Toronto action as Florida action from the recreational bettors. Nothing to report from the sharp bettors. Teams like Florida in this spot usually close it out a little less than 60% at a time, up 3 games to 2. We'll see if history holds true. But like I said, no big risk on that NHL game. It's good to book that one for sure. Major League Baseball, some of the sharper plays today. We got 907 under 8.5, up to -125, and then bet the under 8 as well at -110 on Houston, Texas. They also bet Texas in that same game, -165, -170, -175. Another heavy favorite that they laid the chalk in, 930, San Francisco, -175. And another sharp play for you, 914, Baltimore, -115, -120. So not as busy as yesterday, but it's spread out. Multiple markets getting hit so far. Busy weekend ahead.
Love it. Somebody in our Discord wanted me to ask you about this fight based on our conversation yesterday, how you and I talked about how, hey, we have different ways that we look at UFC fights, and both can be very profitable. We've shown that. Do you have a take on the Myron Santos, Sadiq Youssef fight based on just the way you handicap?
Yeah, let me just pull that up real quick.
Sure.
What I have on that fight. Yeah, Santos, this is his 3rd UFC fight. He's been favored in both of them. Average closing line about -235. Hasn't been tested. The opponent's record combined 2-2. So he hasn't really fought anybody yet. This is a step up for sure against Youssef, who this will be his 10th UFC fight. Hasn't done well as the underdog. He's a better hammer than nail. He's 0-2. This will be the third time he's going to close as the betting dog. He's lost 2 straight as well. So his back's against the wall. But this isn't a step up for him. It's a step up for Santos, meaning his wins come against guys that are combined 29-18. They won 62% of their fights. And his losses actually come against guys that are combined 26-12. So those guys won almost 70% of their fights. So you got to be, almost elite at the elite level to beat him at that weight class. Santos, the way I look at it is potential over credentials, meaning Sadiq's got the credentials. Santos has the potential. So you're got to pay for that potential. It's almost priced in. He's now won 5 straight. He's only got 1 loss as a pro. He's 8 years younger. Those fighters tend to win almost 65-66% of the time, just that age gap alone. So I see that why Santos is the favorite, but I also understand why the betting public is on Youssef, because Youssef's problem is his chin. And from Santos, it doesn't look like he's got that finishing one-shot knockout power at lightweight. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of the Sadiq Youssef money coming in from the betting public. But more than enough sharp action on Santos, willing to pay for that potential over credentials. And when guys that I respect do that, what they're telling me is this, that if this fight was taking place a year from now, Santos would probably be a 160, 170 favorite. If it was 2 years from now, Santos would be upwards of a 2-1 favorite, 220 range. So you're kind of having to price in his future potential. That's hard to quantify. And a lot of times, we expect these guys to be better than they turn out. Other times they outperform what we expect. I think that's why you're looking at Santos still as the favorite, even though, as I've seen in the back end, and it's still early for UFC, but more money is being bet on the Youssef side. I like Santos. I think that the potential is more than worth it. I'm on the camp that thinks if this fight was a year from now, he'd be upwards of a 2-1 favorite, I think. You can only fight who's in front of you, and he's looked phenomenal so far. And he's at that age at 24 years old where they improve like incrementally. Like when you're in your 30s in MMA, you're just more or less going through the motions, going through camps. You're not learning all that much. When you're 20s, that's why the highest win percentage are 25 and under age. It's because they're able to improve like exponentially from fight to fight. They're still learning. They're still getting better and better and better. So that stuff, again, is hard to quantify, but I don't think this line's high enough. I think Santos gets through his first big test in the UFC, and I think they'll probably go to a decision. Because Youssef, again, he's well below that lightweight average. Only, I think, 22% of his fights finished inside the distance. So I think this is a Santos via decision. With that said, these judges are so horrific, you're going to have to hold your breath if it's a close fight. And I think Youssef will make it a close fight.
Okay, so this is really interesting. You and I got to the same decision by completely different methods. Listen to these quotes from Youssef at Media Day. I've had problems with my discs in my spine, the ones in my back and my lower neck. That's why I've been gone for a year. I bypassed surgery. It's a lot of stem cell shots and physical therapy. I'm just trying to live as a regular person before focusing on a fighter. If you can't be pain-free doing regular stuff, it's a bit hard to get into a fist fight, but it's been getting better. Gianni, that to me screams run for the hills. Betting on
doesn't give you a lot of confidence.
No, absolutely not. Especially he took a beating against Barbosa and he got knocked out in the first round against Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez is good, but he's not a championship guy at this point in his career. So I just thought somebody asked was like, hey, you guys are probably going to get to the same conclusion. But completely different methods. So I just thought that was really, really interesting talking about one fight and how there's more one way to do the research.
No, and Youssef was the potential guy coming out of the Contender Series. He had won like 4 straight. He had just beat Andre Fili. They put him in against Arnold Allen. That was a huge step up. And if he wins that fight, he's in line for a top 5 possible title shot.
Absolutely.
He lost that decision to Allen. And since then, he's 4-4 with his only wins coming against Caceres and Don Shainis. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't even know if he's in the UFC anymore.
No, he was cut a while back. So
Great
discussion. Yeah, great discussion on that. You were talking about those NBA trends earlier and how we're like basically on the verge of a never seen before trend, like where if this gets to game 7. How much do we take into account that Jason Tatum is no longer there? Like that adds an even bigger to me X factor with because I'm sure the previous, like what'd you say, 4 games, we probably didn't lose a superstar in one of the games in the series. So how do the markets react to that? And when you're looking at research in the history, how do you try and take that into account?
I think, again, they're usually going to overreact to those kind of injuries. I mean, let's just look. When last time they were in New York, Boston was a 5-point favorite, 5.5-point favorite in game 3 and 4. With that said, they had their backs against the wall. So you had to factor in that must win, which adds that premium to the Boston side. Again, remember, they were favored in the series. They were supposed to win game 1. They were double-digit favorites in game 1, double-digit favorites in game 2. Knicks won both of those games. So Boston goes into New York as 5.5-point favorites with, again, back against the wall. The true line probably should have been more around -3. Since then, though, now we're looking at that adjustment. It's about 5.5, 6-point adjustment. I think that's a little bit too high. I really do. I think you're being asked to pay a premium now for the Knicks. And if anything, I think it's the value's more on the Boston side, especially with the injured player, because usually that's the perfect storm for value. We talk about it all the time. Number one, the market's going to overreact to what the player's worth. But number two, like Marco always talks about, everybody else knows they have to step up. Like your main guy, your go-to is out. Everybody else has to elevate their game. You can't quantify that. We don't have any way to quantify what is that worth. What is that motivation worth? But it does make sense. It's common sense that, now he's not carrying the team. Everyone else has to step up. Again, coupled with the usually have to pay a premium for that. And I just think it's a little bit too high. With Tatum, Boston's definitely a favorite in this game. They're definitely the favorite. They're not going to be dogs in this game, especially in an elimination game in a series they're supposed to win. So that's where, for me, it's a kind of dog or pass situation. I think it's Boston or pass. And we're not seeing threes. Like, I think if it gets to 3, I think that's where you're going to see some sharp money, because earlier in the week when this first line first came out, the Knicks were -2.5. Any threes that popped up came off the board immediately. Like Circa, I think, had gone to 3. That lasted all of 1 minute. In 1 minute, that was taken off the board. Like the 3 was gone. So obviously at +3, you're going to see some sharp money come in on the Boston side. And I agree with that 100%. I think if I see a 3, I will be on Boston as well. Because again, I think they should be favored in this game with Tatum. And I don't think what he's worth is to where the Knicks now should be, 3-point favorites. Because again, that would be an 8-point swing. You're going through 0, but that would be an 8-point swing from that game 3 and 4 in New York. And with the back against the wall and a must win, I just don't think that's warranted.
Yeah, and I test, and Mark actually said it in our chat a little bit, like counterintuitive if Boston plays better without Tatum. Got to be honest, Gianni, they move the ball a hell of a lot more. There's a lot less ISO ball. There's a lot less Tatum, dribbling the ball, pull up 3. So listen, you don't want to go on the road without your best player, but they got good players. I mean, Porzingis is out, but they have a little bit of an element of surprise, and they got guys that can shoot. So we got a big weekend, Gianni. I know you got a 5% play at UFC. Tell everyone what you have up for the weekend for clients.
Yeah, I already have an isolated 4% steam play tonight in UFL. Been doing good in UFL, currently number 1 at WagerTalk. Listen, if there's value, we're going to bet it. So I have a nice 4% play that goes off tonight. For Saturday, already have my UFC with a 5% play in there that I absolutely love, a 4% as well. I'll have the baseball up within the next 30 minutes with 4% best bet. And still looking at that playoff game. You guys already know if it goes to 3, I'm looking at the Knicks. Don't really like the NHL game today, but really looking forward to what's coming this weekend. A lot of betting action, and kicks off tomorrow. Early UFC card, 1 p.m. out here Pacific time. So excited for that. And there'll be a steam room after this. So at 1 p.m. Eastern, all my guys, make sure you jump on. We're going to go through the baseball. I have about 4 or 5 baseball bets that I've already moved that we will be confirming as premium as we go through the board. And that'll start at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to knock that out on Friday so we could just do some damage and focus on the board on Saturday.
Love it. Thank you, Gianni. Thanks for getting our Friday off to a good start. Let's have a great weekend. Can't wait to see you again on Monday. Gianni the Greek, everyone, hit the like button. We are going to fly through the show. Let's do around the world, guys. We got a lot of plays to look at for this weekend. Dan's going to jump in and give us a lacrosse play. Let's go to the NBA real quick. Let's take a look at Kristaps Porzingis, under 11.5 points, rebounds, and assists, under in 4 out of 5 games this series. The game he went over, he only had 12 PRA. He played 12 minutes last game. The Celtics went small ball with Cornette and Horford as the bigs, and he said he was struggling to breathe. He's not healthy. He's going to play just a few minutes, I think. I think they're kind of done with this. He's not healthy, under PRA. This play starts in an hour and 20 minutes. This is in the PGA Championship. Shane Lowry, round 2 score over 70.5. He shot 72 yesterday with the easier tee time. This afternoon, the greens are going to be lightning fast. He was 145th in putting. Horrible course history at Quail Hollow. So Shane Lowry, round 2, over 70.5. Couple plays on the WagerTalk free picks page. Today, there's a lot of baseball free picks, so go check out baseball. One of them, Teddy covers Angels and Dodgers over 9. Dodgers went over the total by themselves. They had 19. Last 8 home games for them, 8-0 to the over. Angels 11-4 to the over in their last 15 games. And then Ralph Michaels, no-run first inning special. He's got the Pirates and the Phillies. Philly 5-1 in the under in the first inning, last 6 games. And the Pirates 7-1 to the under last 8 games when both teams have rest. That is the situation that you have there today. Dan, if you're available and you want to jump on, it's we're down to the last few games of the NCAA Lacrosse Championship. I know you got to play on a total real quick. Who do you like?
Yeah, NCAA quarterfinals going this Sunday, Andy. It's Georgetown, it's Maryland, and a lot of people think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I personally do not. Quarterfinals is where the defense starts to come alive. Both of these teams are in the top 10% here of pace of play, of playing slowly. So I think you're going to see it slow down a little bit, under 21.5, and we got Marco coming up, so I won't belabor it, but Andy, people love some plus money futures. This one isn't a crazy plus money. It's sitting at plus 155, but the PLL is kicking off in just 2 weeks' time. Get in on Carolina Chaos to not make the playoffs. Plus 155. You can find this DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM. They all have futures up. Prices are a little bit different. I think it's going to be a rough season for the Chaos. They lost their head coach, have a lot of players on the holdout list. I do not expect them to have the season that they did these past few. So take them to miss the playoffs, plus 155, and take the under in Maryland and Georgetown lacrosse action this Sunday. There you go, Andy. We got around the world in 90 seconds, 95 seconds. Yeah.
2 minutes. Pretty good. There you go, guys. We covered a lot of sports there. We'll keep doing it around the world. I think that segment's going over well. So UFC episode, it's up on our channel, the Winning in the Shadows channel, and it'll be up just a little bit later today on the WagerTalk channel. So you'll have all the UFC picks, and then we'll be on our YouTube channel doing the Method of Victory tonight. Guys, today's the day to take advantage of promos, especially that 3-day that we talked about. It's $49, and today is the day to use it. You get Friday, you get all plays today, you get all plays on Saturday, and you get all plays on Sunday. Pick your handicapper. It's good for everyone. Works great for me. I'm in play in golf. We got 2 plays up in UFC. We're probably going to have a third, and we're number 1 in MMA profits. 2025 MMA has been really, really good. So you might as well grab all of that, because we have Formula One plays this weekend. We have NBA and we have NHL doing great in all these sports, and we're up 8 units already this week. You can use it on myself, or you can use it on any handicapper. Just go to the deals page, wt.buzz/deals. Best place to redeem that. 3 days discounted down to $49. And if you're looking for a big long-term investment, this is the great time to do it. We have knocked $811 off of 365 days. As a bonus, they're throwing in a free 25% coupon that's good for the entirety of your 365-day pass. You can use that 25% whenever you want on plays, on packages, of another handicapper, anything you want. They've never done this before. It's a free 25% discount. So you want to take a long-term investment opportunity, which is what I always preach. Take the long-term investment look, and you're going to get a bonus of 25% coupon. So take advantage of that. WT.buzz/deals, same page as the 3-day thing. So go ahead and check that out, wagertalk.com. What do I have up? UFC Gold is what we're focused on, guys. UFC has been a big source of income, coming off of really nice wins, some really nice wins last night. Let's keep it moving. We got an official lacrosse play up, Formula One, UFC. So clients and I are looking really, really good. Let's bring in Marco D'Angelo. Marco, I know you. It's the big horse races, and I know it's a bummer because we don't get a chance at a Triple Crown winner this year, but we get a chance to cash in on some other horse racing. I know you and your team did absolutely fantastic at the Kentucky Derby. So just give us a quick little explanation of what the Preakness is, and then I know you got a long shot for us.
Well, the Preakness is the second leg of the Triple Crown. The Triple Crown is the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and then the Belmont. And it's so hard to do this because it's called the Test of Champions. You got to race 3 races in 5 weeks. And understand that most horses in thoroughbred racing race once every 4 to 5 weeks. Now you're asking them to cram 3 races in 5 weeks. And let's not forget that they had all the prep races leading up to the Derby to get enough points to get into the Derby. So it's an exciting time of the year. It's a great betting opportunity because there are so many new eyeballs that are betting these races that don't bet horse racing any other time of the year, or as I like to refer to it, it's dead money. Andy, when we bet sports, we're betting against the house. It's us against the sports book. They put up a number. We either take the favorite or we take the dog. When you're betting horse racing, the house doesn't care who wins because they get a percentage for holding the bets. What we are betting is we're betting against the other people. And I'm sorry, no disrespect to the average horse bettor, but I know more than you. Okay. So if you're going to bet a horse because you like the jockey's colors or you like the name of the horse or you're betting your kids' birthdays, fire away. That just inflates the pools that you're betting into. And just think of it as a big pie. And I like to eat. And the more people that bet these races, the bigger that pie is, and I can take a bigger slice home with me. And that's what we're looking for. And our clients have done very well in the past. And the last thing I'll say about, betting these horse races, when it comes Triple Crown time, all of a sudden, if you look on, sports Twitter or X, everybody's an expert. Everybody all of a sudden knows everything about horses. Okay. I'm here for the horse racing, but guys, I bet horses all year long. I own horses. I breed horses. I've done it since 1986. So you're getting a different perspective whenever I tell you who I like in a particular horse race, because I do understand the sport better than most. And I can say that with confidence.
Yeah, Marco, it's like me every 4 years. I all of a sudden am an expert in judging gymnastics. And then in the Winter Olympics, I'm all of a sudden an expert in ice skating judging. I'm like, he clearly nailed the triple whatevers. And yes, horse racing is the same. I told this story right after the Kentucky Derby. Somebody posted that they picked the winner of the Kentucky Derby. And then you look at their Twitter post. Well, they had so many other bets, they lost money. It's like they forgot to take that into account. It's like, well, congratulations on picking the winner. You also had 5 other ones that completely nuked your profit. So let's give the people what they want. Let's give them a live shot.
All right, we got a long shot here, and I'm going to take a look at the number 3 horse, Andy, American Promise. Now he's sitting at 15-1 in the morning line. I actually think that number is going to float up. The betting public is going to forget about this horse, and why they're going to look at his Derby performance. If you look at just the racing line, the racing form, it was pathetic. Even though this horse got a lot of wise guy action heading into the Derby, I particularly did not like him in the Derby, but he did get a lot of support from the wise guys. He was coming off a big race in his previous race. He was training, looking very good in the mornings and everything. But what ended up happening to him, and this is a big part of my handicapping, you can look at the racing form. That will tell you most of the story, but not all of the story. I am what I like to refer to as a trip handicapper. I go back and watch the replays of every race and zero in on the horses and exactly how their trips went. This horse's Kentucky Derby basically was over at the start. What happened is this horse, when he left the gate, they like to go towards the front with this horse. He got hit coming out of the gate, lost all momentum, couldn't go to the lead because he got pinched off. His jockey had to make a quick decision. His decision was to take a hard left-hand turn to try to get to the rail to save ground. He got to the rail right away, but then he kind of panicked because he didn't want to get too far back at the rail and get locked in. So he rushed the horse up the rail to get him into contention, and he was sitting right behind the two front runners. Well, normally that's a decent place to be sitting, except the fact that he had to use the horse hard after getting hit at the start, and then he was sitting right behind extremely fast fractions. We saw that race set up for the closers in the Kentucky Derby. That was mistake number one, too close to the pace. The second mistake was when he was sitting right behind those two horses, he decided to make a move and try to split those two horses, which would have been actually too soon in the race to make that move, for one. And two, when he tried to make the move between the two horses, that narrow hole closed and the jockey had to grab him up, or it's called he had to check his horse. That's the equivalent of pumping the brakes on your car. These are not cars. And particularly this horse, he's a rather large horse. He stands at 17 hands. That's really big for thoroughbred horses. These horses don't start and stop. Being hit twice and losing momentum in the race cost him any shot. Well, then he backed through the field, and if you look at the racing form, everybody's going to say, what happened to him? Was there a physical problem? Smart jockeys, when they know they're not going to get any of the money, there's no reason to keep riding on the horse. Why beat the horse to finish 6th or 7th and get no money for the owners, not hit the board for the bettors, save the horse for the next race? And that's what I think happened in that race. And if you're worried if there was a physical problem, here's your answer. Dean Wayne Lucas is a Hall of Fame trainer. If this horse had any physical problems coming out of the Derby, he would not be entered to run back in 2 weeks. The public's going to forget about this horse. I'm not saying he can actually win this race. He has a shot, but I think he's going to be on the ticket, and that will juice up your payoffs if you have this horse on your ticket in the exactas and trifectas. So don't overlook number 3, American Promise.
That is the kind of analysis that you tune in for and that you don't see on X. That right there is the exact reason why we have you on, Marco. We're going to play a trivia game here, Marco, and chat. You guys participate in this. I got three questions for Marco. So join on the trivia. But first, we have Pony Pundits, where you break down a lot more in depth. So the true diehards and you guys that are betting horse racing serious. So Marco, tell us about Pony Pundits real quick.
Yeah, it's Kelly Stewart and Sean Alvarez and myself. We break down, we go through every horse in the field, tell you what we think about those horses. And then at the end of the show, Sean and myself give you our top 4 selections for the Preakness to help you in your wagering. And guys, if you watched the show for the Kentucky Derby, we nailed the race. We had the top 2 horses in our top 2. And I said, because when we did the show, Andy, at the time, Baeza was not in the race yet. He wasn't also eligible. But we made a point of saying on the show, if this horse gets into the race because of a scratch, do not overlook him. Well, guess who was the horse flying at the end and finished 3rd? And man, I'd have really loved it if he got up for 2nd, was Baeza. So it was a great show, and we hope to duplicate the last one. You can check that out on the WagerTalk TV YouTube channel, or, check out any of mine, Kelly, or Sean's Twitter feeds, and you'll see the full show posted there as well.
All right, it's time for trivia. I'm very excited about this, Marco. Chat, when I ask the question, put the answer in the chat. Marco, are you ready for the first ever trivia? Here we go. What is a basketball game where one person makes a shot and the other person has to make the same shot or they get a letter?
Horse.
Okay, now you get the theme. All right. Margo, what is the name of a keg of beer that is half the size of a normal keg?
Oh boy, I'm going to be in trouble because I'm not a beer drinker.
We tripped him
Uh,
up.
Yeah, you got me on that one. I'm not a beer
It's
drinker.
a pony.
What is it?
A pony.
A pony. Oh,
Right, Andy?
okay.
Is it a pony?
Yes, it's called a pony keg.
All right.
Unfortunately, I got to hit him with the losing horn then. I got to hit you with that one, Marco.
All right, and surely you're going to get this one, Marco. Surely you're going to get this one. What is a type of horse that shares the name of Dan's favorite city?
Philly.
Yes. Well done, Marco. Absolutely well done. Yes, give Marco a round of applause. Absolutely great. All right, Marco, tell everyone what you have up at WagerTalk for the clients.
Well, if you just want the Saturday card with all of my baseball, basketball, hockey plays, and my Preakness selections, you can pick up the all access package on Saturday for $39. I'll save you $10 with coupon code MD10. But you know what? If you're going to do that, you might as well do the special that Andy already told you about and pick up 3 days for $49. Guys, we're on a nice run. Since last Saturday, 11-5 for our clients. We've made our clients, I think, 23 or 24 units over those 6 days. We're 5-1 on our top plays, the 4% and 5% plays that we've released over that period. So check that out. Head over to my homepage. You can check that package. Just buy the 1 day or buy the 3 days. Or if you want to get it for around $3 a day, buy the whole calendar year. You get every play I release in every sport. I cover all of the sports. I don't release every sport every day. And that's one of the keys to my success, Andy, is I pick my spots. I try to find the 2 to 3 best plays per day, no matter what sport that is. And yes, last year we even did WNBA, and we did quite well with our spot plays in the WNBA, 27-12 with our WNBA plays last year.
Hey, Marco, real quick before I let you go, Daryl has a question for you. Do you know who the jockey is for American Promise in the Preakness? Do you know that as of now?
Yes, it is Nick Juarez.
Nick Juarez. Okay, there you go, Daryl. Nick Juarez is it. Thank you so much, Marco. Good luck. Cash some tickets, brother. Appreciate you as always.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're moving right along. I'm going to break down the Knicks and the Celtics. I have an odd question for everybody. Does everyone know why the last shot of the Knicks and Celtics game was so weird? We talk about bad beats. I cashed a ticket on the last shot of the Knicks and the Celtics, and I have never been so lucky in my entire life. Okay, so we had the Knicks team total at 99. There's 30 seconds left. We get one shot, and we need a three-pointer. Look at this. Look at this shot. Not only is the foot not on the line, it's clearly in front of the line. The ref hand goes up, signaling a three-pointer. The shot goes in, and they count it. To go to 102, I'm thinking surely there's a stat correction coming. No, they leave it as a 3. We talk about bad beats. I don't know what the name is of a good beat, but this was one of the luckiest wins I have ever had in my entire life. So we complain about bad. No. We're gonna appreciate the gambling gods and say thank you for the luckiest win I could ever remember. I cannot remember a play going that well. So let's break down the Knicks and the Celtics from a spread and a total perspective. I think we only can look at one game with the sample size. It's the Celtics with no Jason Tatum. So what did it look like? Well, let's take a look at certain things that happened in that game, and let's see if they're replicable. Celtics out-rebounded the Knicks. The Celtics made 22 threes. The Knicks made 12. Karl Anthony Towns, foul trouble. That's definitely repeatable. He's been doing that his entire career. Jalen Brunson fouls out. Porzingis, only 12 minutes, can't breathe. The Knicks made 32 free throws, Celtics 17. You have the Luke Cornett game, 26 minutes, 5 of 5 from the field, 9 rebounds and 7 blocks. Peyton Pritchard goes 5 of 14 from 3. Derek White, 7 of 13 from 3. Bridges, OG Anunoby, Towns, and Brunson go a combined 4 of 15 from 3. And Mitchell Robinson, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. All right. So how many of those things can actually be repeated to get the Celtics a win? We've got a New York Knicks team that's -2.5, We got an over-under of 211.5. All right, the Knicks at home. I just don't see Brunson getting into foul trouble. They got him in foul trouble in Boston. I don't know if New York is gonna. I don't know if the refs are gonna have the plums, as Dan says, to get Brunson into foul trouble. I just don't see Cornette shooting 100% from the field with 9 rebounds and 7 blocks on the road. I see regression from both teams back to the mean, which means less points for the Celtics and more for the Knicks. I have a slight lean towards the Knicks minus 2.5. I have a slight lean to the under 210.5 because I just don't think you get that big offensive explosion on the road from some of these role players. And we cashed the Knicks over 101.5. It's now 106.5 tonight. I don't know what the Knicks defense is going to do, but I just think the Celtics defense regresses down and the Knicks offense regresses up. I'm going to ride with the Knicks team total. I know it bumped from 101.5 on the road to 106.5. I'm going to be playing that one. Knicks team total over 106.5 with a slight lean to the Knicks on the spread and the under. That's your breakdown for the Knicks and the Celtics. All right, guys, we mentioned some of the promos earlier. We're going to bring on Kyle Anthony and Andrew Babakitis. We're going to talk a lot of UFC. But again, the 3-day pass. Take a look at your favorite handicapper. Take a look at what sports they handicap. It's probably a great weekend to use it. We got Friday plays, Saturdays, and Sundays plays. For myself and for clients, you're going to get NBA, NHL. It's a Formula One race weekend. Qualifying is tomorrow. It's a big UFC weekend. Someone like myself, this is a perfect time to use a 3-day pass. If you're interested in more long-term, we talked about 365 days. If you're interested, reach out to me, reach out to someone in the comment section, put it in there. I'll be happy to talk to you guys about a long-term investment. I'm actually meeting up with someone in person to talk about it next week, someone that happens to live a few miles away from me. So I'm open to talk to you guys about it. I understand it's a big business. It is worth it. It's absolutely worth it, and you're going to get a 25% coupon that lasts the entire 365 days that you can use on any handicapper. And one of the handicappers that you can use them on is Kyle Anthony, UFC handicapper extraordinaire. We're going to get a couple free plays from Kyle, and then we're going to play the game Sell Me, where Dan picks a random fight. Kyle and I.
What about our man, the Prez? You're forgetting about our man, the Prez, no?
Dan, I'm messing with him because he's got a tea time. No, we're bringing in Kyle Anthony. I got you, Prez. I got you good.
That's no good.
We're bringing
no good. No good. He's not fun. He's not amused. Not amused.
You didn't think that was funny? Oh,
I mean,
okay.
that doesn't look amused.
Sorry.
I'm leaving you two.
All right, Leafs and Panthers, Prez. Okay, how's your heart after that last game from the Leafs? Are you okay?
I have 1 minute, my brother. The Leafs versus the Panthers. I'm going to take the under on this game. Andy, sorry, I'm totally flustered.
You're okay, brother. You're okay.
I'm
Can they
sorry.
pull it out? Can they pull it out?
No. So there's zero reason for me to be an optimistic Leaf fan, and that's fine. Look, I hope they pull it out. I don't know how anybody could bet Florida at minus 250. That's just utterly insane to me. If I were to bet Florida, I would take them in regulation. I think it's going to be a tight checking game. I think the under is the right play here. I think we're going to have a low-scoring game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 3-2. I wouldn't be surprised if the Leafs play much better. There is money coming in on the Leafs right now, but just a little bit. But the line is just too high. I just can't get my head around playing a minus 250 in an elimination game at this stage of the season. I mean, I think Florida, if they were playing the Chicago Blackhawks, would be minus 250, maybe minus 310. So I can't play the side in this game because I just don't want to play the Leafs. They let me down every time. So I'm going to look to play the under. And yes, Gary, I will be cheering like crazy for the Leafs. And frankly, if the Leafs win and this game goes over, I'm okay with that, Andy. I'm not going to be betting my personal money on this game. I do lean on the under, and I also lean on the under in the Winnipeg Jets game, which goes tomorrow against Dallas as well. And I think Edmonton is going to win it all. And I was looking to see about a future bet on the Edmonton Oilers at plus 225. and it just seems to be a stupid bet. You're better off taking Edmonton to win the conference finals against likely Dallas, and then rolling that money over and taking Edmonton to win in the Stanley Cup finals. So there's no value in taking a future bet at this moment, but I do think Edmonton is going to win. I will be cheering for the Leafs, and I do like the under in both NHL games.
Yeah, the unders have been really good. I saw a stat that I think, what is it, Toronto, the last 3 games last year, the final score was 2-1. So I saw someone making the case like maybe the +1.5 would be a decent bet. Any thoughts on that, or just under and that's about it?
So I never play these +1.5s ever. I don't think I've ever made a +1.5 bet in my life, but yeah, I do like it. I think this game is going to be close. I think this game is going to be 3-2. So if you can get Toronto at +1.5, that might be the best bet. What would that line be? Let's take a look. I'm not betting this game.
I think it's -130.
Yeah,
something like that.
-1.5, +1.5, -135. I like that bet, Andy. I think you unearthed a really excellent bet there, because I do think it is going to be a tight, low-scoring hockey game. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see this game go to overtime as well. These teams, everybody has lost their shit. I mean, it's only 3-2 here. -250. I can't get my head around it.
All right. Well, Lawrence, I know you got a tea time. Where are you playing at today?
A place that is a 45-minute drive, and my tea time is in 40 minutes.
Tell everyone what you have up, and good luck.
As of now, I got nothing for my clients. I'm passing in hockey. I likely will have an NBA bet and an MLB bet, and I'm rolling in both sports. My NBA has been incredible, and my baseball has been incredible, and my NHL has been incredible. I'm the #1 most profitable expert the last 30 days, and I've been that way. It's been that way for the last 20 days. The last 2 months, Andy, have been incredible, and I'm excited about continuing to roll for my clients. Nothing makes me feel better than making money for my clients. Thanks for having me, dude.
It's better than cash and bets for our own bankroll. Long, straight, and consistent today, Prez. It really is. Good luck to you. Have a great round, Lawrence Presman, disgruntled Maple Leafs fan. I got to tell you, that felt great. That felt great. Dan, I'm sorry, but that felt
dude.
Really
he was. I saw somebody get comment and they go, "I've never seen Prez so serious." Dude, his face was red as a beet. He was not pleased about getting Matt Damon and left in the wings there, man.
Yeah, the amount of time.
I will tell you.
Fourth.
I was messaging our man Chris behind the scenes, and I was like, do you understand the delicious irony of Prez messaging me right now saying, "Why am I not on the show yet?" It was almost poetic justice.
He'll laugh about it at some point. All right, Dan, Get ready because Kyle's coming on. We're going to talk UFC. Kyle's got not 1 but 2.
I mean, that was like, it doesn't get much better than that. It doesn't. It really doesn't. I mean, he was like ready to go, and then it looked like he was logging off. It looked like he was just about to log off.
Genuine consternation on the face of the Prez.
All right, Kyle, we're going to talk a couple fights, and then we're going to do our segment Sell Me. That's where Dan comes in, gives us a fight that we're not ready for. He gives you a side. He gives me a side. But let's talk a couple of fights here at UFC Vegas 106. Let's talk about Michael Morales and Gilbert Burns. You and I are on the exact same page. Walk us through this one.
Yeah, so in the main event here, we've got Michael Morales. He is a massive -800 favorite on the comeback here. We've got Gilbert Burns +550. Now, I get it. Morales is an absolute killer here. He's a rising star, 25 years old, 17-0. He's explosive. He's got finishing ability. But definitely, with that being said, this line is a little bit disrespectful to Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is a high-level guy. He's been around the UFC for quite some time, facing top-level guys, and it's just timing of this fight for the most part here. And it's kind of something that I talked about last week on the show was, Jack Della Maddalena versus Bilal. It was like the timing of that fight was really good for Della Maddalena because it's just kind of, again, the end of his career, the end of Bilal. Now this is kind of the same thing, although the price is obviously much different here. And you got Morales here, who is 25. That's a 13-year age gap. You've got Burns, who is going to be 38 years old. And I have never seen anybody really do well on the retirement fight. So it sounds like this is going to be the end for Burns here. He's got other things going on outside of the cage. And I just think that, his real big claim to fame right now is really having that close fight with JDM, where JDM had a broken hand. But this is a spot here where you got Burns, who's definitely going to be a guy who's undersized for this division, especially in this fight. Morales is going to have an 8-inch reach advantage, a 3-inch height advantage. And I think also the fact he's going to be more explosive. He's going to have that physicality. And I think this is really where I'm going with this play here, is that I don't really see Burns diving at legs here and looking to kind of go into the wheelhouse of Gilbert Burns, where he's a high-level jiu-jitsu player here. I think that Morales keeps it on the feet. I think he's going to be able to work at range, land the more damaging, impactful shots. And I think it's going to happen pretty early in this fight here, in this 5-rounder. And I do like Morales by knockout inside the first 3 rounds. We're flipping that -800 into a +110. I think there's a ton of value on that because of, again, I think the path is there for Morales to keep it on the feet and land the shot. So I do like Morales here, KO inside the first 3 rounds.
Love it. Let's move on to Jared Gordan versus Thiago Moises. Interested your take on this one. I thought Thiago Moises looked horrific 2 fights ago, and then he comes out against Trey Ogden, and he's on the, let's just say he's on the Raoni Barcelos training and diet regimen. How do you see this fight going down?
Yeah, so this one, like you say, I mean, there is a point here where, you've got Thiago, who does have some ability. There's definitely, he's a technical striker. He's pretty well rounded. He can utilize the leg kicks. There are things that he does. He's slick on the ground, but it definitely seems he's kind of peaked, and he is still young for the UFC, but it's just, I'm not really seeing that much from him. And the biggest, I think, red flag for him in this spot is how low volume this guy is. I mean, he's absurdly low volume, way under the average here. He averages 2.5 significant strikes landed per minute while absorbing over 4. And that's a big negative striking differential. He just doesn't push any type of pace. And the way to really kind of beat a guy like that is really push a pace on him. And that's really exactly what Jared Gordan does here, is he likes to push a pace. He's historically done that. Both these guys over a large sample size. They've been in the UFC for quite some time. He averages 6 significant strikes landed per minute while absorbing at less than 4. And I think he pushes that pace. I think he really puts it on Moises. I think he really, keeps him on the back foot, lands more shots. Neither of these guys have power, but I do think the volume, that's why I think the volume is so critical here. Now, Moises may look for those takedowns. He may look to try to level change, try to win positionally, but I think that Gordan is the better wrestler between these 2 guys. So I think he can kind of keep it standing, work at range, and just push that volume. And let's also not forget that Gordan was absolutely robbed by Paddy Pimblett. So he at least was very competitive in that fight. And even his most recent fight, against Nasrat Haqparast, which was a very tough fight for him, but it was a split decision loss for Gordan. But I thought that he did win it. He has had, some spots where maybe he should have earned the victory there. But I think this is a spot, a very winnable fight for him, and also at a good price here.
Excellent work by Kyle Anthony. It continues to be crushing it long term. We talk about long term, and Kyle, I know you've just had your last year was still epic. I keep talking. I think I talk about your 5% run more than you do. He hit like 11 or 12 of them in a row. So we got a big UFC fight night coming up. Tell everyone what we have up for clients over at WagerTalk, and then we'll do Sell Me.
Yeah, so this weekend I do have a 4% plus money play. I really love this play overall. I think it's a great spot, a great spot. And also I do have both play plays right now are at plus money, going to be adding to it. Really like the spots that we have. Again, we've got a lot of UFC events coming up, so looking to cash.
All right, Dan, we're bringing you in. Dan, we've got a couple fights here. Tell us which fight you got, and tell me who I have to sell you on. Tell Kyle who he's got to sell you on.
Well, guys, when I was looking for the fight for our Sell Me segment, and of course, we love the Rock'em Sock'em Robots, the guys going toe-to-toe here, I didn't know the UFC this week stood for Ultimate Effing Chalk. Oh, my God, this card is just chalk. So trying to find a fight that maybe we could have a breakdown in was a little bit tougher than I expected, but The one I settled in on is Melchiazel Costa. He's 185 favorite. He's going against Julian Erosa plus 155 on the take back. It is also, I was looking at the total round sitting at under 160. Tells you that not only is Costa going to win, he's going to win within the distance. So I'm wondering for this one. Last week we had Andy breaking down the favorite, but saying a guy's not only going to win, Kyle, but win inside the distance, according to how this line says Costa deserves to be favored. So, Kyle, tell me why this chalk is warranted here and sell me on Costa. And then Mr. Lang, you can tell me why he's wrong, and Erosa might be worth a look. But, Kyle, man, make me make sense on this favorite.
Dan, let me put you into a nice 2025 Melquidial Costa. Now, the price may be pretty high. You're looking at that price tag, you're saying, like you said, a little chalky, but this price I do think is valid and worth it here. That I just am not that big on Erosa. He is 25 years old, but I do 35 years old, but I do like the fact that Costa is going to be the far better striker, the far more durable guy, the guy that's going to be able to push the pace a little bit, look for those takedowns. Erosa just knocked out the corpse of Darren Elkins, so not that impressive overall. I think that this is a spot where you can see Costa utilizing his range, utilizing his great kicking arsenal, landing the better shot. So I just don't really see Erosa here. I think this price on Costa is valid. So do we sign the papers now, Dan? We good with Costa right now for you or what?
That was pretty good, Andy. I mean, starting off with the used cars salesman pitch on like, let me get you inside. That's going to be a hard act to follow, Andy, but the floor is yours, man.
Well, Kyle said the corpse of Darren Elkins. I believe he meant UFC veteran coming off of 2 wins, Darren Elkins. And now, yes, Darren Elkins is a 1973 rusted out Pinto. Yes, for sure. Dan, can I interest you in a fighter who has won, not 2, but 3 straight fights in a row in the first round? 2 by guillotine choke, 1 by KO, and he's just coming into his prime at the ripe age of 35. He's going to be bigger. Costa doesn't throw the volume. If we're talking about mileage, Erosa has been down the road more traveled. Costa's still trying to find himself as a UFC fighter. Give me the guy that's got chokeout ability and knockout power with ground and pound. That is the path to victory for Julian Erosa.
Oh, wow. Just before the bell has sounded. You know what, guys? We got Andrew Babakitis coming on next, so I'm having him break the tie. He's been listening backstage. He'll tell us who got sold. I got to tell you, the used car salesman pitch out of Kyle right out the gate was pretty damn good. And when the rebuttal, Andy, is my guy might be a rusted 1973 car, but I don't know.
Honest car salesman. Honest car sales.
Transparency, right? Transparency.
The mileage. There's a lot of mileage on that one.
Comment below. Let us know who you were sold on, and we'll have Babakitis break the tie. Good stuff, guys.
Thanks, Kyle. Good luck, brother. Appreciate you, man. Have a great weekend. All right, we're bringing in Andrew. Andrew Babakitis, you heard that. You get to break the tie. Who do we convince? Are you going with Erosa or are you going with Costa?
I mean, those were pretty solid pitches. We did take this thing opened minus 220 on Melky, and you can kind of see where the price has gone. It's sitting minus 175. We did take a large sharp bet at plus 195 on Erosa. So, I mean, if I'm leaning towards who the sharp action is that I'm seeing, I'm leaning Erosa just based off the price tag. I think Melky is most likely going to win, but, I mean, I wouldn't be fading the sharp guys that I've seen bet in that fight for sure. And also, I think what you did to Prez was pretty evil, but it was pretty funny.
It was mean and warranted. All right. We'll call that one a draw. All right, Andrew, where's money coming in? There's just so much chalk. Where's the money coming in on these fights?
Yeah, like you guys mentioned before, I mean, there's 6 fights over the price of $3. A bunch of fights over $5, and the main event, like you said, is an $8 price tag. The co-main is over $5. So a large part of our focus this week is really dialing in on the method of victories and the totals, the fight go distance, the exact round props, because some of these price tags are just I don't know, pretty untouchable unless you're like willing to throw a dart at these long shot dogs. But yeah, we can go through some of the fights that are a little bit closer. Yeah, so the Marion Santos fight is one of the fights that is actually relatively close. We opened that one at minus 135. It originally was coming down quite a bit. It got down to minus 25. Then we took some sharp action on that Santos side. But there's strong opinions on both sides. But the sharp money is definitely coming in on Santos. We're currently sitting minus 140 on that, looking to win a small bit on the Santos side. Then we already talked about the Erosa fight. Like I said, Erosa, one of our sharper bettors, bet that at plus 195. So we're looking to kind of flip our decision on that one. Couple of girl fights at the bottom of the screen. I know we took a couple 5-figure bets down there. Luana Santos, she opened up minus 135. We did, like I said, take a couple of really large bets on that one. It's currently sitting minus 170. I wouldn't say it's the sharpest action of all time, but it is a big mover and a lot of action on that Luana Santos. So we're kind of in a spot where we need Lisboa pretty big. We did take a sharp bet on the over in that fight. So it's looking like that one, shockingly, is going to probably go the distance. Yeah, and then any other fights that you want to talk about? Not the biggest handle, like you said, this week on this card.
Okay, well, we'll do a violence parlay real quick, and then we'll get you out of here. I like the co-main and the main to not go the distance. I'm really stunned at only minus 225 for the Burns and Morales. Burns, he's 40. He lost cardio in the third round of his last fight. Now it's 5 rounds. I don't see a world in which this goes the distance. And then, Bellato and Craig. Bellato's biggest weakness is his chin, and Paul Craig can't punch. Bellato's torched a couple guys on the feet, and Craig is just he's past his prime. I think I heard something about Paul Craig, like said his last fight was going to be like 3 years ago, and he just keeps fighting because he doesn't know what else to do. So I parlay both of those at minus 143. A little bit chalky. I think it's a steal. What say you?
No, I don't disagree with you. I mean, Paul Craig's either going to probably go in there and get finished, or pull one of these crazy submissions off like he's done in the past. So I definitely don't hate that. And, Michael Morales, the price tag feels a little heavy, like you guys were talking about before, but I definitely see, sitting at 3.5 for the total, I could definitely see a finish in that one as well, for sure.
All right. What's going on at the Westgate this weekend?
We got all these basketball and hockey games finishing up. A lot of action in here live at the book. Obviously, golf is pretty, if you're into golf, and that's all over the big screens right now. But yeah, the UFC, not the greatest card to talk about, but we did get a bunch of the future fights for like 316, 317, 318. We got a bunch of those prices up, and those fights are a lot more entertaining. I know those will warrant a lot more handle. So if you're not too interested in this card, we do got a bunch of those future fights up. Stop by and sign up if you haven't. And I try to keep it super competitive with the pricing on our UFC and get as much content out there as possible. So follow me on X if you haven't. And like always, I appreciate your time, and thank you for having me on.
Thanks, Andrew. You can follow him at Babakitis24 on X. Have a great weekend, Andrew, and we'll talk to you again next week. All right, that's a wrap for today, guys. We got the weekend lined up. Plays are in. Work is done. It's time to execute. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You get notified when all of our videos get released. We got some great breakdown videos breaking down all the sports, PGA Championship, UFC, Preakness, as well as NBA and NHL. Big cards this weekend. Don't forget to take advantage of that 3-day pass. Get you all the weekend plays, a handicapper of your choice, myself included. Good luck on your plays, everyone, and we'll get after again on Monday. Have a great weekend.